Hello. So, I want to give some advice on what guns to keep in Destiny 2. And there's a lot of people who would just tell you to automatically delete a gun just because it doesn't have a specific role. And I just wanted to explain why it takes a little bit more effort. So, for example, this, as you can see on my kill count, is a pretty good performer in the Crucible. It's a 180 hand cannon. It shoots 180 uh, RPM. So this roll is fantastic. Kill clip. After you get a kill, it gets a damage increase. The second perk, after you hit precision shots, it increases your reload speed and adds some stability, which is important. So this automatically has synergy. This is what you want. Now my perks, this is a max range. So my magazine perk gives me range. My barrel gives me range. And then I have a range masterwork. With hand cannons, or most of the games, you want range. And I mean, most of the guns in the game, you want range. But this right here is a god roll. And I shouldn't need another roll, right? I have the god roll. Well, if this goes against a 140 archetype of hand cannon, that archetype, let's see if I have one on me. I don't have one on me. So I'll just pull one up real quick, just so you have an idea. So the 140 archetype, this has like a .8 TTK, time to kill value. So 3 headshots from this, and it will down me. Versus from my 180, this will take 4 shots, and the TTK is exactly 1 second. So if I am dueling an enemy who has a 140 hand cannon, they automatically have a shorter TTK value. So this doesn't mean everything. I can still win the fight with the 180. Don't get that. Don't get too far twisted in the on paper numbers. But I'm gonna have a hard time because they have to hit less shots than me. Now if I start the engagement and I catch them off guard and I get the first shot, then the gunfight is in my favor. So let's talk about getting more into favor. So we already went over this is a fantastic roll. It has all the things I want. Max range and lethality. I shouldn't need another one, right? Well, because of that 140 user, I need more help. So I have this in my postmaster waiting for me to pick it up. Why? Let's talk about it. It has high caliber rounds. This is going to add flinch to my opponent. It doesn't say in the description, so this is like some more, I guess, extra homework you have to do into the game on your own, or maybe somebody will tell you. But not all the perks tell you what they do. This just tells you that it will knock the target back. In PvP, that's adding flinch to their screen, and what that means is when they're aiming, when their reticle is on top of your head and you fire a shot with a high caliber, that means their gun is gonna knock upward and it's gonna go slightly above your head. It might make them miss a shot. And it's not guaranteed always gonna like make them miss shots. That's something you also have to know. But it gives you a chance to flinch them and make them miss a shot. So going back to the 140 conversation, they have to hit 3 shots to my head in order to kill me. If I make them miss a shot and they have to shoot again, that's going to make their TTK go up past 1 second, giving this hand cannon the win. So, I already have a god roll. That doesn't mean I should just delete everything else that comes up, because now this gun is going to be great to my arsenal. So I'm going to put this in my loadout, and when I'm not going against a 140 user, or let's say I'm going against 140 users, first I'm going to test the water, because they may not always be hit machines. People aren't perfect, and I might be able to duel them just fine. But if I'm going against somebody tougher, well, then I'll just switch out to this high caliber round, and that ups my favor. And then I'll try and slide out into the engagement where they don't expect me and start the fight sooner, so I get the first shot. So now I have 2 things in my favor. Another thing is this shoots faster, so my bullets are hitting them harder with high caliber, so I'm causing I'm causing their reticle to be really challenging to get on my head, and I'm shooting a lot of bullets, so it's really challenging. Now, let's talk further about the perks. Let's say range isn't something that's super important in a fight where it's a close quarter map, but I need to be able to swap to an energy weapon really fast for a cleanup. Well, what's important in between swapping is handling speed. So let's say I no longer want range, correct? I want handling speed. This barrel, corkscrew rifling, it slightly increases handling speed. So it's faster, but let's go back and go into fluted barrel. This one greatly increases handling speed. So I throw on this perk, and I will shoot 2 rounds into my opponent, but they're very aggressive, and they like to push into engagements. So let's say they're using a hand cannon, shotgun, common technique. What they're going to do is they're going to rush you, get 2 shots with the hand cannon, and then they're going to quick swap to their shotgun. So you're going to have to switch to something like that in order to combat them. So what's important is your handling speed. So quick draw is something that you want to pay attention to on special weapons, because you can pull it out in an emergency that somebody's rushing you and pushing you. Now, it doesn't just matter on the one weapon that you're swapping to pull out. It also matters how fast your kinetic weapon is stowed, and your stow speed and your ready speed. Your ready is when you pull it out, stow is when you put it away. Those are both affected by your handling stat. So, again, I have a god roll, but it's not always the best gun for every engagement. So you want to keep an eye out and hold on to multiple rolls. So that's two PvP situations. And in this game, you're going to be playing or player versus player. Now there's PvE, which you're going to be playing with other people, player versus environment. And those two roles of the Survivor's Epitaph I just went over are for the Crucible. Do you want other perks? The answer is yes. So I have two great ones already. Why would I need more? Let's talk about it. If you go into a strike or a raid, what's really important is your abilities. So here's a PvE roll. You see, if you get kills with this weapon, then the energy you get back is divided into your abilities, and you're getting that on top of just a normal kill. So I have a role for that. If I'm going to be playing with other people in PvE, I want more ability spam. Or if I'm playing PvE and my grenade, I'm throwing a lot of grenades, this perk will change my kinetic into an energy weapon. And for example, if I'm on a warlock, a huge thing to be used in PvE is your stasis turret. You're going to hold your grenade and then you're going to throw it, and it turns into an ice turret. Well, because I'm throwing the grenade all the time, I'm going to get this kinetic into a stasis perk. So this will be doing stasis damage. And this is relevant in case you are in high tier game modes like Grandmaster, Nightfalls, even Nightfalls in general, where you need multiple energy types in order to break all the enemy shield types. So, for example, you can hold a solar weapon, and we'll just throw on arc. Oops, I gotta back out. That went into my vault because I was in that menu. So let's say we're in a strike, nightfall, PvE arena where there's multiple shielded enemies. Some are arc, and you need arc to burst their shield, and then you have solar to burst their shield. Well, there might be an enemy who has a stasis shield, and that will open up the kinetic slot with osmosis. I'll be able to turn that gun into a stasis, and I can even turn it into a void by throwing a lot of void grenades. So now I have a void hand cannon, a solar energy slot, and an arc. Now I'm running 3 energy weapons that I can use to break shields, all because of this osmosis perk. So you wanna keep multiple versions of weapons, is what I'm saying, because there is a specific time and place for them. Not one version is the end all be all. And you kind of have to, you gotta be able to think for yourself. So there's a website you can go to, lightgg.com, and this will tell you all of the perk combinations a weapon can get, and it also gives you a rating for weapons. and sometimes it might say you need these two versions, otherwise it's an F tier, C tier, B tier, and a lot of people destroy the gun automatically, and that's really unfortunate because they just listen to Light GG. But you have to take a step further after you play the game longer and you get a feel for it. You will be able to tell what's a god roll, and not everybody will be aware of it. For example, this sniper rifle, this on a Light GG rating would be considered garbage because it doesn't come with snapshot. In snapshot, it lets you aim down sights very quickly, and time is very important in PvP. But you can see I'm very successful with this weapon in PvP because I knew about this perk right here, high impact reserves. This will deal more damage at the end of your reserves. So you spawn in with only 2 shots. That's already putting me at the bottom of my magazine. So I'm doing more damage with the sniper rifle. A sniper rifle is a high damage weapon. So what this means is, it's my first shot. I'm already going to break my opponent's shields just by using a sniper rifle and aggressive frame. I know that off bat. Everybody knows that. What fewer people know is with an aggressive frame, the amount of damage you're doing is increased if you are on a warlock and you pair it with an empowering rift. This well will increase damage. So what that means usually is it's gonna stack. It's not usually. It will always stack. There hasn't been any nerfs to the perk. So any weapon I use in the well is gonna get a damage increase. This with an aggressive frame and a sniper is taking off your shields. What few people know is if you pair it with the rift, is you're able to body shot guardians with 4 resilience or less. Pair that with the 3rd damage perk, and that ups the resilience. And I knew this intuitionally because I studied the game, and I just, I'm really into PvP and I have fun. So high impact reserves was on my radar. I went and said, whoa, a damage perk for free tied to something I know is deadly, and I figured out that I could body shot guardians with an 8 resilience and lower, which makes this very deadly. I don't have to hit the head, and it's a sniper rifle. It's a one-shot kill. So you have to go beyond what others recommend and tell you to typically just shred. Like, honestly, these perks, they're not the best on the gun, but it's still deadly. So you kind of have to do a little extra work, use websites to learn perks, and really quickly. Sometimes there are weapons that just have rare perks. This is a kinetic slot auto rifle that has Demolitionist. So kills with this weapon generate grenade energy. And activating your grenade ability reloads this weapons from reserves. The second part, what that means is if you throw your grenade, this gun will automatically reload. no matter what the situation. Now, there's extra that's not in the description of the trait. They have nerfed the second half of this perk where you can't do it back to back. You can't have 2 grenades and throw them right away and reload your weapon right away. So this is the second part where you have to do your homework and pay attention online to perk descriptions. But what my main focus here is, this perk is rare in on the auto rifle. I think this is the only auto rifle in the kinetic slot that can get Demolitionist, and that's important because it synergizes with your builds in both PvE and PvP. Sometimes some archetypes don't do enough damage. This is a 450, and in the Crucible, all weapons kill. If you can make it work, you can make it work, but you might be working uphill. 450 is an archetype that's working uphill, still lethal, but what's important is the Demolitionist perk, which can help me personally with a grenade build. So with this one, this exotic, I'm focusing on grenades. I get an additional scatter grenade, so I get 2 grenades, and if I use those 2, I want that energy back faster, so I'm going to use weapons that have the Demolitionist perk. Now, that's just a short example. There's a lot of play styles, a lot of different things you can do in the game, so there's a lot of reasons to have different options to pair. So you have 500 volt space, make it work. Save some guns. If you have 250 empty spaces, like, I'm just saying, like, well, it depends with new players because there's not a lot you can get back in the game, but I'm saying you have the space and opportunity, so might as well take advantage. So this is another example. I'm keeping these 3 for different reasons. This has a damage perk. I like its magazine perk and its barrel perk. Even the handling is good for a masterwork. And a lot of people will tell you if it gets this masterwork, it's trash. Well, for example, a reload. Majority of people aren't excited about reload as a masterwork. But if you get into the higher tier and ask them questions, I just found out recently that a lot of them favor reload speed because an empty gun is going to get you killed. So they want a reload masterwork. Versus average players, they like more, there's not like I don't want to sound disrespectful, but they focus on different things. Handling is one of them. They want to swap weapons. That's something more flashy, quick. They want range, something that's gonna be an instant, something noticeably instant. Versus reloading, it sounds boring. Like, I'm gonna reload my gun. Ooh, that doesn't sound exciting. Unless you have a kill perk. And even then, some people get a kill perk and they won't respect or rejoice that they got a reload masterwork. But let me go back. So this Jurassic Green, I like its magazine, I like its barrel, and I keep it because it has a damage perk. This one I'm keeping because this has a rangefinder. On this archetype of weapon, this is a rare perk. I don't think there is any of this archetype, which is a rapid fire frame. I don't think there's any that hasn't been sunset, which means they can't. If a weapon's been sunset, you probably can't get it as a new player. And for old players who have it, they can't use it in content that requires high power levels because the power level is capped. So this weapon that you're looking at is the only one that can get rangefinder and be used in high tier content such as trials and grandmasters and nightfalls and raids. So this is rare. It's automatic keep in my book, and it has 2 range, so 3 range perks. This should have an advantage over a base model. Why I'm keeping the 3rd is really for fun. It's a game, you should have fun. The perk is unrelenting, and if you are able to down multiple opponents, if you kill 2 guardians specifically, then you get health regeneration. And in between that, you're going to be reloading. And if I reload, then I get better aim assist, and I get faster aims, aim down sight time, ADS. So these 2 perks synergize. High caliber rounds, we went over that, it has a lot of flinch. And if I'm reloading a lot, a reload masterwork is great. And then this controls my barrel, moderately controls recoil. So all 3 of these weapons have a reason for me to keep them. So you just can't get one version of a gun and be like, I'm set. This is all I need. I mean, you can if that's how you want to play. I don't want to, you know, throw shade everywhere. But what I'm trying to say, there is value in having multiple roles. And just because you have a good one doesn't mean another one can't help you. So, yeah. Test the guns. Have them for different reasons. And have fun.